Hello, Merle.
Hi, Tim. So nice to be with Tim tonight. So Tim is going to be presenting tonight, and I'm just here to introduce him before he starts the presentation. And if I can just ask that everybody mute themselves, and then if you have any questions after the presentation, if you go back to the person who invited you, and they will sort you out and answer anything that you need to know that you're not clear on. So Tim Wagner worked in hospitality for 27 years until 2018, when he became happily unemployable. And Tim and his wife have sold their house, and them and their two fur babies have been traveling South Africa for the last year. And the plan is to now travel internationally. So Tim much prefers to work online. It's far more profitable working for himself than working for a boss. And he's a digital nomad. His interest is personal development, and he's got a passion for sharing knowledge. And obviously, Gift of Legacy fits in perfectly with Tim's passions. So over to you, Tim.
Well, thank you very much, and welcome to the screen, Merle. I hope this is not going to be the only time we see you. So it's a privilege and pleasure to have you here introduce me, and thank you for that wonderful introduction as well. So for those who don't know, Merle is testing her feet in the GL presentations, and you'll be seeing a lot more of her, I know, as it goes along and time goes along. So thanks a lot. I'm going to just jump over to my screen share. We are live on YouTube as well, so that's being recorded there, which is perfect. All right. Okay, so Merle, you can just tell me that you can see the screen.
Yeah, Tim, I can see your screen. I can also see all your perfect. Yeah.
There we go. All right. Fantastic. Yeah, thanks very much. So it has been about a year and a half now that I've been in the gifting economy environment. And as Merle said, that I much prefer to work online in my own businesses for my own profits. And I've been doing this full time for over 4 years now. And the opportunity that gifting economy gave me far exceeded anything that I'd done online before. Perhaps you've been scammed, been involved in scams, unknowingly were involved in something that did not work. I can't tell you how many online platforms, investment platforms, cryptocurrency platforms, structures that I've made quite a fair amount of money in, and also had some very high expenses in education. So perhaps you're along the same lines as well, and you also lost money, or you know somebody that did. Well, that was me when I was first introduced to gifting. So I came in with a lot of skepticism, a lot of concern, and knowing that there's a risk that you have to accept if you are going to be able to do anything successfully or profitably. And at the same time, I was coming in with an open mind. So what I'd ask you to do is have your mind like a parachute. A parachute only works when it's open. If you've never been to a gifting presentation before, have a look quickly in the chat box there. Before we started, people were saying hello, and you can see that we're international, all over the world, and I'll share some numbers with you shortly. So as we've grown, this has become far more than just a gifting economy. Now, when I go through the slides, I'm going to be talking about some golden nuggets. Now, a golden nugget to me is something that I found very, very receptive, that I was very receptive to when seeing the gifting economy in comparing it to what I'd done before online. And these golden nuggets were the reason why it took me literally 15 minutes to realize this was worth it. And it took me then 4 days in order to first get my return, because I'm a business guy, so I always look at it from a business perspective as well. Although at this point, it would be worth noting to say that this is not a business, not network marketing, it's not multi-level marketing, sits very much in its own very unique category. And you'll see that as we go through the slides. So as long as I have no more technical challenges, there we go. I was having my own battle before we started here. I like working online because it gives me freedom to go anywhere in the world and still work. I'm called the digital nomad, as Merle said. But then I'm also not the most technologically advanced chap, but I do my best. So the disclaimer here, presentation is for information only. I'm not a paid person from Gift of Legacies. Now, the Merle, we are purely here in our voluntary capacity to share what we're very, very passionate about. So Gift of Legacy is also not financial registered organization. We're not tax advisors. And information that we're going to share is purely examples of what is possible should you decide to follow the set system that I'm going to be sharing with you. So as an introduction, the gifting economy has been around for a long time, and I'd never heard of it before January of last year. So it was a little bit unique and unusual in the structure and the way it worked. So I did, although I got it and I thought, well, straight away, this is worth going in. And I know from experience, the only way you find out the truth is by actually getting involved. It took me a while before it really clicked on how this economy and the unique algorithms that drive it for sustainable ongoing gifting. We don't call it making money, call it gifting. How it actually worked. And when that clicked, wow, then I haven't stopped. I haven't stopped. So economically around the world, I think it goes without saying that stuff has changed. And if we're still looking at making our money, our personal economy, in the same way as we were 2.5 years ago, you're potentially in for some big fail. If not now, then in the near future. As the whole economy has been changing for many years around the world and has been sped up, this whole new paradigm shift in how money moves around the world has changed dramatically faster in the past 2.5 years. If you just have a look at a very simple comparison, 2.5 years ago, I'd be talking to a small audience in a room. Maybe there'd be 20 or 50 people that we'd have as I'd be doing live presentations. Well, as soon as we were all shut down around the world, we went online and we went on to Zooms and all these electronic things. So now I'm no longer restricting myself to my audience. We're worldwide now because of technology. So if you have a look at how fast technology and the Zoom presentations and people work from home and all of the school from home structures online has sped up in the past 2.5 years, the same is going on with the economy. And you've got a choice. There's 3 choices, in fact. You can either be part of the change, you can watch what is going on, or you can wonder what on earth happened. Now, I'm not involved. I'm not interested in sitting in the sideline and watching what's going on. I want to be involved. And the gifting economy forms so beautifully into this change in the way that economies around the world are working, as well as giving people a plan B, another option apart from just the JOB, your regular earned income, or maybe your small business that you have. So we're here to thrive, not just survive. And I'm going to take you through those numbers as we talk about gifting. You can read that on here. This is the why slide. Who's it for? In other words, why would you do this? What are you looking for? For me, I needed additional income, additional cash flow. That was first thing. We're all here because we say we want to make extra money. Perfect. Why? Well, at the beginning of last year, I wanted my wife and I to be able to travel South Africa where I could be getting ongoing income on a part-time basis. I'm never going to stop working, and that retire thing is just a fallacy. What I'd rather do is just be happy and free to think and do and go where I want to be and do. And I felt that this could give me that freedom. That's what my why was. It allowed me to be a digital nomad as one of my income streams. At the same time as setting that up for myself, put your own oxygen mask on first, help yourself, help your family, then help others. This is where the sowing and reaping and the giving, in order to give, in order to receive, you give. How can you bless others? How can you help others? How can you uplift others? How can you educate others and help other people to achieve what you've done? That came not too much further on down. So whatever it is that you're looking for and what is your reason is probably the most critical aspect in this whole presentation that I'm going to be sharing with you. But whatever it is, whatever resonates with you, helping others, charities, getting your own cash flow, having a plan B, your children's university fees, the debt, whatever it may be. Have a look at some numbers that I'm going to be sharing with you shortly and see if those numbers resonate with your why. So let's go through a little bit of a background into more whys before we get into the what we actually do. So no limitation of borders, and Gift of Legacy is now in, I believe, over 107 countries. Now, the live platform that we're working on right now is only just over 6 months old. The whole gifting economy has been around the world for decades. But this specific platform, 107 countries in just over 6 months, is absolutely remarkable in uplifting communities, uplifting ourselves, and helping create abundance. And here's a key thing: self-development. Merle said one of my passions is personal development, self-development, growth, and I like to learn information, disseminate it, and live it, and then share it. This is a key thing for me. Self-development is a critical element or part of what you need to have to be successful in this environment. Why? Well, 27 years in hospitality. If I just brought those skills into this environment, I would fail. Network marketing, online business, investment platforms, cryptocurrencies. I needed to learn new skills. Now, in our environment, we know this. So we've put together a lot of information to help you benefit and maximize the returns that you can get from the gifting economies. Sacred economics has been around since the 1960s. There's a whole history, which we won't go into it right now. It's 100% legal. So if you haven't heard of it before, you'd think, oh, maybe it's one of the shady deals. Well, it isn't. And in South Africa, in fact, a gifting structure or style of economy is even written into our Income Tax Act. So we know that it's 100% legal. And even though it's been off mainstream system, just like I said, I'd never come across it, even though I've been online for many, many years. Why? Well, perhaps I just wasn't ready to have seen it, or I wasn't ready for it before. In Africa, we call it the Ubuntu culture. And anywhere around the world, you have a community culture about supporting each other, helping each other. And this is one thing that I've seen very, very growing very fast in South Africa, as my wife and I have been traveling around, is how the smaller communities are thriving, even in the issues that we've been having in the last 2.5 years versus the big cities. Very interesting how we've seen that change happening. Blessing millions. The amount of people that have joined and come on board with Gift of Legacy has meant that in the last 6 months, $40 million. That's US dollars 40 mil. That's a lot of money that's been moved amongst the Gift of Legacy members. Hang on to that number, because I'm going to ask you now, how much of that 40 million would you like to have come through your purse? Here's a golden nugget for you: decentralized, meaning no company, no institution, no broker. In fact, Gift of Legacy is not owned by a person. It's owned and held into a trust that is overseen. Now, being decentralized, this means that you don't have to worry about the stability of it, about somebody just coming in and changing things, which happens to me, which has happened to me before in the network marketing business, where the owner said, hey, he's just going to change everything, and so suddenly the income changed. Not in this environment. Gift of Legacy platform, the website, is purely there as an interactive medium to help people communicate with each other. It connects people. That's all. Got a wonderful algorithm, and the boards move. I'm going to show you how all this works now. But as I'm going to show you in a moment, it holds no money. All you need is a computer and a smartphone, internet connection, WhatsApp, Telegram, in order to be able to communicate. Golden nugget number 2, it's peer-to-peer, person to person. The platform holds no money. There's no third party controlling your money. There's no tokens. It's not in cryptocurrency. It's not in anything, because this platform holds no funds. The funds, or gifts as we call them, move from person to person directly. No percentage commissions get taken off. There's no money going to Gift of Legacy and you need to give 10% or 3%. None of that. There's no monthly membership fees. Another golden nugget where so the Ponzi scheme is held together by the new people coming in, paying in their money, and monthly membership fees to pay the others. Well, there's no membership fees here. There is none. I'll show you how the money works just now. That's another golden nugget. Perpetual income, ongoing. Wow, this was a big break for me. for many years in various different platforms, and perhaps you've been to presentations where they've said, you can earn ongoing income, set up this network, build this, do that, sell these widgets, do what, and then you're going to get income for life. I've never seen it. Never seen it. Until I came across Gift of Legacy, where you do it once, and as long as you continue to follow the system, you will continuously get gifted ongoing over and over, which I quite liked. 27 years in hospitality, and every job or contract that I ever left, they stopped paying me. I thought, well, after all that blood, sweat, and tears, I'd like to carry on getting paid, but they didn't. So in this environment, do the work once. It's not work. It's fun. It's a very, very simple process. Do it once and continue to reap the benefits. So you'll notice that this is not a normal business presentation, overview, or, as I've said, network marketing, but it's none of those things. We're a community with the same vision, here to help change as many lives as want to be changed. So that's going through some of the why we're around. Let's have a look at what you actually need to do. In the slides that I'm going through here, you're going to focus on the yellow circle, the U. You're going to join a board. Now, there's 4 boards. You'll notice the first one, as it says on the screen, is $100. And you're going to gift that directly to somebody. A person could be in one of 107 countries around the world. Maybe very unlikely these days to be your own country. You're going to gift them $100. Why US dollars? Well, US dollars is still deemed at this stage to be the main world currency. And every country around the world has an understanding of how much a dollar is in their currency. So in South Africa, the exchange rate right now, for some reason, the dollar is very strong, which is another discussion for another time, is 17 to 1, which means 1,700 Rand is needed for $100. You make sure that you send the other person $100. It's a gift. It's like if you're giving somebody a present. You don't give them the present and then say, well, the wrapping paper costs $10. Please, can you give me $10? No. You send person, they receive, that legend receives $100. So there's 2 things that are key that I'll say right out to you now. No hidden secrets, nothing like that, agendas. 2 things required. Number 1, $100 from your pocket, once off, never again. No money ever again from your pocket, just once off, $100. The next is share it with people. When you see what can be gained, why would you not? So let's have a look at some numbers. You can read the rest on the screen. Now, I'm not going to go through those big numbers now, because I've been around long enough to know that you're presented with huge numbers, but in the back of your mind, you think, yeah, but only a few get there. And I don't know. Let's focus on $400 at the moment, or $1,600. And then we'll start working towards the bigger numbers. Let's get started. You enter a board. There's 4 boards. The first one is the $100 board. You gift the legend. This is, as I've said, the one and only time you take money out of your pocket. It's peer-to-peer, already mentioned that. So you're going to learn a new system, how to move money around the world. If it's in your own country, easy, bank transfer, no problem. You can meet the person for a cup of coffee, hand them $100 if you want. But most of the time it's overseas. So you maybe need to learn, as I had to when I first started, different platforms, Airtime, PayPal, World Remit, Revolut, bank transfers internationally. You could do, a bit expensive and lengthy, but it's possible. But the main one, and my passion, is cryptocurrencies, especially on the higher boards. So perhaps you've never come across cryptos before. Have no fear. There's enough of us in the community who have been doing it for years, and we will help and guide you and train you. And we've got a lot of material available to just break it down in simplistic terms, that all we're doing is helping you understand how you can move money around the world very, very simply. So remember, no middleman, no third party. Money goes directly from one person to another. And I'm going to show you how that works right now. This is what a board looks like. When you join, you gift $100. Once you have followed the system I'm going to show you now, you're going to leave with $800. Now, I'm a businessman. $100 in, $800 out. I like those numbers. Let's see how it works. You're going to join the board, and you'll notice that on the left-hand side and the right-hand side, there are 4 gifters. So there's 8 gifters in total. That means 8 new people per board. The second layer is the builder, and you'll notice there's 2 on the left, 2 on the right. So there's 4 builders. There's 2 guides and there's 1 legend. The legend is the one who receives the money. Now, somebody on this call is going to go, I knew it, it's a pyramid. They've just turned it on its side trying to be clever. I'm not here to persuade you or tell you why it isn't. I'm going to let the system do that for you as we go through. So hold on a second. You're going to come back to that in your own time of why this is not a pyramid scheme. So you join. You're introduced by somebody. The builder introduces you. You join and you register very simply. There's no FICA documents or KYC or anything like that because there's no money on the platform. It's a very, very simple process. As you register, the computer system will give you the legend's details. That's the person in the middle that you are going to gift. The legend can see your details, your cell phone number and email address. You contact the legend. You say, hi, legend, I'm Tim. I'm new on your board. I would like to gift you $100. How would you like to receive it? The legend goes, wow, Tim, that's fantastic. Wonderful to meet you. I see you're also in South Africa. I'm happy for rands as I've got bank accounts and all cryptocurrencies. And the gifter agrees with the legend, sends the money. The legend confirms the gifter. Absolutely fantastic. As this is happening, other gifters also come on the board, introduced by their friends or family or colleagues, the builders. Anybody can introduce people on the board. Ideally, you do it from a builder position. Now, once half the board, either the left or the right hemisphere, has been done, something magical happens. I'm going to show you. $400 is now in the legend's pocket. So the legend can fast track to the next board, even before this one's completed. I'm going to come back to fast tracking shortly. In the meantime, the other gifters come in, and it's unlikely they're going to come in exactly as I'm showing on here. They can come from various different places. The different builders are introducing people at different time, but the system is very simple, of 4 on the left and 4 on the right. 800 gifts are accepted. Once that happens, the board splits. That legend is now finished. That board is now gone. You move up a level. So you now move from gifter to builder position. You introduce your friend A. There's $100. So A, you introduce. Now you've learned some skills. You've learned how to contact the legend. So you're going to help your person contact the legend. They're going to gift the legend. You're going to introduce your second person. There's your second friend, B. Then the builders, the other builders, are also going to be introducing theirs. And each time they join, they're going to gift the legend $100. So the legend's got 800. What happens next? You then move up to the following position because that board is now complete. It's filled. It's gone. Bye-bye. You move up. There we go. Now you've noticed that you've moved to the guide position. The person A, your friend A, and your friend B have moved up and they're now in the builder position. So you as the guide have a responsibility to guide your builder, that your two friends, family members, colleagues, whoever they are that came in, to guide them and do exactly what you did. Simple, repeat system. Follow the system, wash and repeat. So builder A is now going to introduce their friend. There we go. C comes in and also then D. Now, exactly, it might not work exactly like this, but each person brings in their own. And this is where they're going to then fill. So B would then bring in their friend E and their friend F. And there you go. So now the board can split. So whether either hemisphere fills, and in this example, the left hemisphere is filled, that means that you have done what you needed to do. The board can now split, so making you a legend, leaving the original board behind there. The legend here can't move off. It's not finished because they've got to get everybody else. But this gives you an opportunity to move to your own board as a legend. So now you've noticed that your two people have moved to guide position, A and B, left and right of you. A's people, C and D, have moved up to builder. B's people, E and F, have moved over to the right hemisphere, and they are now also builder. So you sit back and you go, my time to receive, because you've trained your A, you've trained your B, they've trained their people, they're showing, helping, supporting, we work together. There's a wonderful chat format on the page. Everybody on that board, those 16 members or people on there can talk to each other on the chat box on the online. So we can all support and help each other. C introduces there too. D introduces there too. F introduces theirs and E introduces theirs. You have now received $800 in gifts. And this is where the magic happens. If you complete your board and your original board has not been completed. Remember, you spun off it because you had your 4 on the left, but the legend hadn't completed because they still needed people. So in this example, a few more people have come in, but there's still 2 gaps. The perpetual system, and this is where the magic comes in the algorithm. If you don't understand this the first time, it's fine, watch it again. You are now going to become, you've got the option, you've got the opportunity, I should say, to become a gifter on a new $100 board. But because your original board hasn't finished, the system's going to put you back here. This way, we ensure that no boards get stuck. Let's have a look at some more numbers. You've received as the legend $800. You're going to now look after. Now, that's not all your money. You see, we're an economy. What happens in an economy? Economy means that money needs to move. If there's no money moving, you create a recession. What's happening around the world right now? People are scared about the cost of living. Everything's going up. So people are holding back. We're starting to hold back. Look at the numbers of inflation numbers around the world. America has not had inflation numbers like this for 40 years. In South Africa, we're going to be getting it very, very soon as well. We're always slightly behind. Europe, the same thing. It's not been 40 years. They have not seen inflation numbers like this. So people are getting into fear mode and holding back. When you hold back, you create recession. So in this environment, if you took all $800 gifts and you ran off, you're not going to help yourself, and you're not going to be helping the people that you've introduced and the people they have. In fact, the whole system, nobody else would benefit. So what is the point? So here's what you do. It's not all yours. You're looking after $400 to move to the following board and $100 to get back onto the bottom of a new $100 board, leaving you $300 in your pocket. Remember I said to you after a few minutes, it didn't take me long before I realized that this is what I actually want to do this on when I first saw Gifting Economy. It was at this point because I thought $100 in, I haven't lost it because I've actually given it directly to a person. Didn't go to a company or an organization or some guy at the top who's already driving a Ferrari and lives in paradise. No, not at all. I gave that $100 to somebody in need. So I figured I didn't lose it because I actually helped somebody. So the $100 in, $300 out, which means a 200% return. $200 return, that was me. I was thought, if I can do this for 300, I could do 3,000. I can do 30,000. Why? Because the following boards follow exactly the same system. Here's the next golden nugget for me. The perpetual ongoing income. At any point, you're only going to be on one of the boards. As you move through all 4 boards, you'll only be on one $100 board, one $400, etc. So as you've gone off the $100 board and onto the $400 and moved on to a perpetual 100, so you've gone back to the bottom of a $100 board in a perpetual position to help the algorithm, everybody move up. Because you're already on the 400, you're not going to be gifting 400 again once you're legend. Now it's only $100 you're going to be keeping to put back into the system to keep the economy going. And every time you move through the 3 stages to become a legend, you will then be able to keep in your pocket $700. Is that not more exciting than 300? Way more. Over and over and over. You start at the bottom, you go to legend, get gifted 800, you put 100 back into the bottom, you start again. And in the meantime, you're also going to be working your way through the $400 board. The only way that you influence the speed on the $400 is by helping your friends, the whole, what we call a lineage, everybody coming in on the $100 board. The more people that you help on the $100 board, you don't have to limit to 2. The quicker you're going to move through on the other boards. But you don't have to bring in anybody else as long as you're helping others learn what you've done. $400 in, $3,200 out. But the same way as the $100 board, the system works exactly the same way. You move through the positions. The only people coming in as a gift on the $400 board are ones that are either coming from the $100 or the perpetual. So once you've finished on the top as a legend on the $400, you're also going to go back to the bottom of the $400 board. This way, you're now going to be on 3 boards. The $100 perpetual, a $400 perpetual, and the new $1,600, leaving you $1,200 in your pocket. And you see why it's so important to follow a set system, keep the economy turning over. The first board, you only kept $300. The second board, you're keeping $1,200. Which is more exciting? Don't answer that. It's very simple. What we all know. Perpetual cycle works exactly the same way, but this time it's $2,800. As you're already on that $1,600, so you're only keeping $400 back. So you're on the $1,600 board. Now the numbers start to look really exciting. So I needed to work your mind to grow it slowly in order to start looking at and talking about $12,800, because this starts becoming life-changing. The fourth board is a $5,000 board. We call it the platinum board. Once you've received your gifts on the $1,600 board, $5,000, and it's a lot of money. I remember the first time that I sent, I can't remember what country it was now, $5,000 to somebody I'd never met before. I got a kick. It was like an adrenaline rush. I love receiving money. What was more amazing was sending somebody else $5,000. My wife said to me, "What do you mean $5,000? In rands, that's 80,000 rand. That's 4 months average income in South Africa that I sent to somebody I'd never known before." And I said to my wife, Monica, I said, "You know what? I'm so excited to gift somebody else $5,000 because I know it's a mathematical certainty that after a period of time, somebody else is going to be gifting me $5,000, but in multiples, times 8. So at the end of a $1,600 board, does this not make a difference to your life? If we could show you how over the next 5 to 6 months, you could follow a set system, introduce 2 people, only putting $100 down, and by Christmas, could be before, could be long before, let's just say 6 months, you could have an extra $6,200 in your pocket. How much of a difference would Christmas be for you and your family? What would your new year look like? And we've only just begun. The perpetual cycle, $11,200 is what you hold in your pocket once you've completed the $1,600 board perpetually, because you're already on that $5,000 board. This is the time that we get gift of legacy insomnia. You know, the days when you used to lie in bed awake and you can't go to sleep because you've got all these debts and these bills and you don't know how you're going to pay everything and the school fees and your kid needs dentures and this one's got to go on a rugby tour and you're thinking, where am I going to get all this money? Now you're lying there going, wow, how can I spend all my money? You're not asking, where's it coming from? You're saying, no, where can I put it? The options are open to you because $40,000 is a lot of money anywhere in the world. You've completed round 1. 4 boards is the maximum. You're on $100 perpetual, a $400 perpetual, a $1,600 perpetual, and you're now going to be on a $5,000 perpetual, leaving you with $35,000 in your pocket. Now things start to be different. This is when you can start going to your boss and you say, "Boss, I've got an eye problem. I don't want to work here anymore." No, I don't recommend you do that. Not yet. Not yet. Soon. But you're going to be sensible and you're going to be a good champion of your money and learn how to multiply your money into multiple streams. Once you've got 7 income streams, fire boss. Until then, enjoy the ride. Perpetually, it's $35,000 because you're only putting back $5,000. I say only, very likely, but that's a lot of money. $5,000 back onto the economy to keep the economy going. You follow the cycle, follow the cycle. So here's a screen that I would encourage everybody to take a screenshot of. Take a photograph, get your phone out, take a picture, take a snap, print it, stick it on the ceiling above your pillow, above your bed. So when you're lying in bed at night, before you turn the lights out, you're staring at it. You're visualizing it, you're looking at it. When you wake up in the morning, when you lie there and you open your eyes, it's the first thing you see. Then ask yourself the question, what am I going to do today to get me closer to being a legend on the $5,000 board? And follow that. So let's go through a summary. Remember those numbers I said to you I'm not going to read right at the beginning? Well, I can read them to you now. Your mind needs to open up to be able to understand that anybody can receive 42,700 on the first time you cycle over the boards. And when you're on the perpetual boards, that's 49,700. But that's actually an understatement. It's a lot more than that. because the boards don't cycle at the same time. So while you'll spin faster on $100 than you will on a 5,000. So it's a continuous cycle. It's not just lumps. But you can understand that over time, your brain and mind is going to be expanding to this amount of money so that you can be receptive to it. You can be a good steward of it. You can look after it. You can learn how it grows. You can help the economy. And so we all then grow. You don't want to do this once. You want to carry on and hang around, because this is how Gift of Legacy has been designed. So in your first cycle, you give $100 to the legend, one registering. You invite two like-hearted, like-minded people to journey with you. You help those two do exactly the same. For the Perpetual boards, once you've completed your first cycle, you will be auto-joined onto the next highest board. So once you've completed the $100 board, the system will auto-join you onto the $400. You then gift that legend within 24 hours. I ideally like to say you gift them immediately. You join, you've got the money because you've been gifted. You want to keep it in the economy. So you're then going to contact the legend and gift them immediately. Also, because when you're a legend and people are joining your board, you would like them to gift you immediately. So treat others as you would like to be treated. That's my philosophy. Once you're confirmed as a gifter on your new board, on your higher board, you will then be auto-joined to the board that you've just left. So if you're going from 100 to a 400, once you've finished on the $100, you'll automatically be joined as the gifter onto the $400 board. Once you've been accepted on that, you'll automatically be added to the $100 board. That's where you gift the legend automatically on there. Gift the legend. System says within 24 hours. I say you do it immediately out of respect. Perpetual positions ensure the integrity and sustainability of GL. And again, why would you not do the work once and then continuously get rewarded for it? Or in this economy, gifted. Very important also that you will not advance past the bronze board if you have not invited your two. You'll be sidelined until you're ready. You're not going to lose your position, but you're not going to hold up anybody else. What makes us unique? User-friendly. Very, very simple website. Fail-safe system. I've explained a couple of the things, but there's a lot of things that go on with this innovative algorithm to make sure there's continuous movement and growth. There's continuous developments as we're learning more. As I said, Gift of Legacy on this format has only been live for 6 months. So there's a lot of valuable insights that the programmers and these guys who think, their brains are absolutely phenomenal to say, how can we speed it up? How can we work this effectively? So that's why it's so important to remain connected. Keeping this cross-pollination, which is the movement where you're going to help boards which are moving slower on the perpetual cycle so that everybody then benefits. We're a global community, and it's important to understand people from all over the world that you communicate with might not have English as their first language. And Merle's going to share with you later on so you can see all the various myriad of languages around the world. I think the Gift of Legacy is being presented 24/7 somewhere around the world. No limiting to two. Don't limit yourself to two. You can. But I always ask the question, do you want to do this fast or do you want to do this slow? You want to do this slow, put two in, sit back and go, I'm going to wait for everybody else. But come on. If that's your mindset, stick to your job. Absolutely no problem. It's not for everybody. But why would you not want to do this faster and at the same time help other people? We've got a community support team. Merle is one of the people. I'm one of the people. We give back to the community. This is what we do. We like to give back to the community. So there's a support team of people who are just like you as part of Gift of Legacy. They're not paid. They are just members saying, I would like to give back to the community and help others start out to understand how to maximize. We've then got Fast Track. I don't know if you remember, right at the beginning, I mentioned Fast Track, where you can go from one board quicker to another. So for those who like to say, I want to get there fast, Tim, how can I get to that $5,000 board quickly? I'll show you two strategies. Not going to take too long on it. There's training about this, but let me give you the insight so that I get your juices flowing. You go, this is exciting. The second board is a $400 board. You don't need any extra people. It's only ever two. You don't have to put anybody else in on any of the other boards, ever, if that's what you choose to do. As long as you've got your two people and you've registered them and they've been accepted onto your $100 board, you are then able to take money out of your pocket, if you so choose, $400, and put yourself onto the silver board. Once you've done that, you can then take money out of your pocket. And once you've gifted and you've been accepted on the silver board, you can take money out of your pocket because the gold board would open up for you to join. no extra people needed, and you'll gift $1,600, and then you can do exactly the same. So if you've got that cash flow, and I know multiple people who did, they jumped over they went through the 4 boards while still busy on the first $100 board. They were on a platinum board already. And then they cycled through that platinum. That's called fast tracking. Now, we do only promote that you need $100. So how do you fast track if you don't have the cash flow? I never had the cash flow. But what I did was my example. When I was on the $1,600 board, I waited for, once I received as a legend 4 gifts, I just needed to add a little bit more. 4 gifts. I then fast-tracked before my gold board, the 1,600 board completed. I fast-tracked onto the platinum. I took that money to make sure I didn't spend it, and I gifted it straight away. What happened then was, when my gold board, all 8 gifters had come in, my platinum board had already cycled once, so I was already off the gifter position. I was in a builder position. If I hadn't have fast-tracked, I would have then joined as a gifter all on my own, and it would be taking me longer to work my way through. So I didn't take the money from my pocket. I took the money from the system, and you can do that at any level. That's a very, very clever strategy, which we presented right at the beginning. And we got training on this as well, if you want to get more insight and understanding how you can get there quicker. Very important, some notes here. No promoting on social media. Social media will bring the wrong mindset, wrong-minded person, where typically these are the guys who are jumping for the next shiny object. We're not interested in the next shiny object. I've been there, done that. Those shiny objects don't work. They're up and they crash. Finished, end of story. Gift of legacy is here for the long term. There's no reason for it to crash. No filling of spaces. In other words, the people you invite on shouldn't be your 5-year-old daughter and 80-year-old great granny, unless they are, or you are, committed to add 2 people for them. It's strongly recommended right at the beginning, when you get going, you want to bring in 2 people that are like-minded, who are going to do what you've done, and bring in 2. Bring in your daughter or your spouse or somebody else once you're cycling through and create another position. Absolutely no problem. But right at the beginning, you don't want space fillers. You want to put people in here that are actually going to do something. Be the messenger, not the message. In other words, you don't need to know how this works to share this. We have got a system, and Merle will share with you the different presentations and training, that all you need to do is say to somebody, I've come across something very interesting that you might enjoy. Join me on the Zoom tonight. Or you can send them one of our short 7-minute intros to say, have a look at this clip. And they go, wow, that's interesting. I want more. Fantastic. I'm still learning. Join the Zoom. Let the people who've been around this a bit longer do the work for you. Doesn't that make it easy? Attend the presentations, watch the recordings. Different presenters have got the same topic, the same slides, but with their twist to it. So perhaps something I've said didn't resonate with you, or I speak too fast, or I've got a funny accent because I'm in South Africa and you don't quite understand the twang. Well, join one of the other presenters, or one of the other languages, if that's going to work for you. We've got extensive training. What we do know is the people that attend the training, people that attend the Zoom meetings, the people that remain connected are the ones who achieve. If you don't remain connected, you'll slowly lose interest, you'll forget your why, you'll forget what it was that resonated with you, and it'll just become one of those things that you never did. So participate in your own rescue, no guarantees. What you put in, you get out. Put a little in, you're going to get very little out. That's quite obvious. Okay. Follow the guidelines of gift of legacy. If there's a breakaway or somebody says, well, look, we've got this and we're working out how to fast and do that within the system. No. There's no third parties needed here. Gift of legacy is one structure, and the people that put it together know how this works to the benefit of the greater community, not the individual. And then the individual gets helped by the greater community. Make sure that you're compliant with tax laws in your country. We can't talk about that here because 107 countries, well, everybody's got their own tax laws. Make sure that you're compliant with whatever currency or your economy or gifts that you receive, because you don't want to get yourself into trouble. And once you start receiving $5,000 at a time, somebody's going to notice. So I would not recommend hiding it. Reminder that it's decentralized, no third party, no affiliations, no owners. Make sure that you are gifting the legend on the board and not somebody else who will do it for you. That's not how GL has been designed. Gift of Legacy, 100% peer-to-peer. Love that. No funds on the platform. Fantastic. I love it. Gifts are always direct person to person. Now, before I hand over to Merle, just so that I've got it all ready to chat about the last few sides, love heart positions are very, very powerful. When we first started this, we all have a deep desire and a want to help those those in need. Not everybody has got the capacity to be able to introduce $2 or even have $100. Your domestic, your gardener, perhaps there's a soup kitchen, a charity, an orphanage, a rehab center, any non-profit animal welfare that you believe could benefit from being gifted. If you are in Gift of Legacy, you have introduced your $2. You can then apply to have one of these organizations or people in need be given a love heart position, which means that you do not need to find 2 invitees for that position. You would sponsor that person or that organization as an individual. For example, I've got somebody very close to me who's in desperate need of very expensive medical care. So I've created a love heart position. I gifted the $100 in. There's no need to find that 2 people, because the other love heart people who come in there or organizations will then fill those 2 for that person. ggmmovement.org/loveheart. It's on the bottom of there. Make a note of that, or take a screenshot of this. You fill in a form, it gets sent through to committee. They validate, verify it, and then you would typically manage it until that position is up, and then you can decide depending on who it is or not. So this is a way to give back, and there's fantastic testimonials of how charities and organizations, animal welfare, people in need, elderly, have been helped by the system because you give back. The next thing to have a look at is to say, well, there's no funds on the platform. Who pays for this? Well, that's a very, very good question. Thank you for asking that. As you move through the boards and you're being gifted $400, $1,600, $5,000, want to give back to some of it to the community. And so we've got, you see at the bottom, .org donate. You're welcome to, and it'd be fantastic to donate a little bit to keeping the system going as it drives itself and is self-funding. Costs a lot of money to get something as technical as this going, I can assure you of that. So be part of the greater community and give back. So it's been fantastic talking to you. I'm going to hand you over to Merle, who's going to close off on some critical information of how you can remain connected.
Thanks, Tim. It's a wonderful presentation. Just before I tell you what groups you can join, I just want to stress that you cannot get hold of support through any Telegram group. So there are Telegram groups out there that say they're GL support. They're not the official support. Please only use the button or the email address to get hold of support. Okay, so that's the only way to actually get help. Because otherwise we get people coming and saying, oh, I put it on the support group, and there are only 3 official groups, and that's not one of them. Okay, so the main English global Zooms, on Monday we have Motivation Monday. Tuesday and Thursday they're presentations. Wednesday is orientation workshop or some kind of training. So tomorrow there might be cats let out the bag, but there might not. So you better be there tomorrow just in case. And then on a Friday, we unpack GL and their various topics. So typically once a month on a Friday, Candace will give you the stats for the month. How many people have joined, how many people have gone through boards, all those sorts of things. So it's really worthwhile being on the Friday call or watching a recording so you know what's happening in the community. Then the Afrikaans Zooms, for those in South Africa, they're on Tuesday at 10 in the morning and Thursday at 6 in the evening. The Zulu presentation, Charles does that at 7 o'clock on a Thursday evening. And then we have Asian Pacific presentations on Wednesdays at 1900 hours, Thursdays at 2100. There's Spanish presentations on weekdays at 2100. There's German presentations on Monday, then they're Finnish, Italian, Portuguese, and French, and many more languages coming. There are different groups for the different languages, so they obviously announce them as they come. Then the 3 official Telegram groups, these are the groups that I'm talking about. They'll all have this logo, so it's very important that you see that. So there's the Gift of Legacy official community, the official info only. So if you don't want a lot of chatter, info only will tell you where the talks are and all the new graphics. And then there's a Gift of Legacy testimonials. Adele and I open the testimonials group most days. but we both work, so it depends on when we're free, because we do try and monitor those groups when they're open all the time, because otherwise we get spam, and we don't want anyone to be spamming. Testimonial group, we want to hear your happy stories, your wonderful stories. We don't want whinging and whining. You can email support with that. Thanks so much, Tim.
I love that testimonial group, because I always say that what we've shown you this evening is sort of the scripted stuff. This is the how, what, and whys. The testimonials is the hard stuff. That's directly stories from people in the community about what they've done and what this environment, the people, the gifts has done to uplift themselves. So those are the real stories there. Get back to the person who invited you, and you get sent those direct links for that. So yes, thank you very much. Really appreciate everybody being here. Thank you, Merle, as my co-host and managing everything there in the background. It's been brilliant. I'm going to look forward to hearing you joining in the being part of the presentation in the next week or so. And for anybody who's been around the environment for a while, please be free to put up your hands. As I said, we're volunteers, and as Merle said, that she's also a volunteer in support as well. We're always looking for more people volunteer, even if it's just an hour a day, a couple of hours a day, or a week that can assist, or if you want to do presentations as well. Fantastic. The more the merrier. Once you understand it, you don't want to stop. So tomorrow evening, in fact, Merle, is Chris Hatcher is going to be talking tomorrow evening. And as she said, maybe or maybe not, there's going to be a cat coming out the bag. And that means he's going to share something exciting. But you're only going to know if you join. So I'll see you all online tomorrow. Once again, thank you very much. In South Africa, it's cold winter. So I always say, stay warm, stay healthy, and get wealthy, wherever you are in the world. Good night.